that parachute video, and I've been wanting to mention this for a while. As somebody who have been involved in coordinating air campaigns, I am beyond impressed at the capability, discipline, and technical discipline by the Israeli Air Force. We're talking about a very complex campaign with thousands of miles being flown continuously by each platform. Not a single incident. That is unprecedented. There needs to be a huge kudos to the IAF for being able to maintain such campaign with no incidents, no catastrophic incidents, no.
I need to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Breaking news.
I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I do want to break in. This was terrible. Was this a couple minutes ago? So this was IDF spokesman Brigadier General F.E. Defrin press conference was cut short due to military headquarters going on high alert. While taking questions at the Kitover military headquarters in Tel Aviv, a loudspeaker can be heard announcing that the base is going into defensive standby alert, meaning that it is preparing for an attack. As of now, no ballistic missiles have been launched from Iran. This was 6 minutes ago, but the Kira did go into heightened alert during a live press conference. James, I saw your hand up. And then there's others, but James, I don't know if you have other breaking news.
Okay.
Or voice, go ahead.
No, it's just that it connects to the question you asked, and before, sorry James, but I'm sure you will let me before the discussion goes to somewhere else. You asked how can it be that Israeli drones can operate on the ground on Iranian soil while the Iranian drones are not being that successful. Now, if we already established that we have Mossad teams and other human assets that are being there on the ground and of course helping this entire operation, so well that they have actually managed to launch those drones undetected from all these mobile launching pads, then you have to understand that whatever forces that are on the ground, they also have probably portable jammers. So they are like sort of like a manpack that can disrupt radio frequency, GPS signals, telemetry signals. You know, they can do GPS spoofing. So they could basically have spoofing devices. They can be next to the Kashan Air Base, for example, and disrupt communications there. And that will be very hard for the Iranian regime or the military to launch anything over there when there is no communication. You have that also in Israel. They're doing it sometimes in Israel when there is a conflict with Lebanon. I don't see a reason why they won't be able to do it there and physically compromise antennas, cut power to GCS. So I mean, might explain what. And if I had to bet on it, I would put a suitcase of money that that's the case.
So I wanted just to talk quickly about, thank you, voice, a couple of points. So let's not forget the attack started around 20 hours ago, a bit less, 18 to 20 hours ago. It has been a continuous back and forth with the time it takes to go back, if you restock into weapon and strike. It started with an assassination of the top leadership, and then everything from there were attacks on locations, like important military locations, especially related to the ballistic missiles and to the nuclear program that Iran has. What I want to talk about is right now we're starting to get what seems to be a wake-up from the Iranian media apparatus on Twitter and on other areas start talking about shooting down planes, and then the air defense is starting to work, drones being hit, and the possibility of an attack in the next couple of minutes or couple of hours. All of this is like, I think 20 hours, not too late, but we were expecting a fast response, which shows how Israel took the Iranian by surprise. What I want to add is, please make sure that when you get information like the drone, like the F-35 we did, I wanted to ask Matt this question if he's available. Do you really believe?
Sorry, mate, just to jump in, mate. Voice, you just said that apparently there are missiles now being launched towards Israel. That's coming from her because she's obviously in Israel and she's cyber alerts in the coming minutes, according to Home Front Command. That also comes from fake news. So it looks like the Iranian response has begun of some form now. We wait to see exactly what, and obviously for everyone in the...
Let them come, Peter.
I have a question.
We're giving you as much updates as we can, but...
just let me...
Yeah.
Thank you. Let me just answer the question to Matt. Matt, what's the probability that the defense system could shoot an F-35 or an F-15? The Iranian air defense system could shoot one of those planes down, because that's what's being reported right now.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's their best shot is going to be the S-300s from the Russians, and they're rumored to have the S-400s. So if they had S-400s, that might be their best shot at getting it done. But I don't think they actually come. I only saw one report last year that Iran possibly had them. But what we've learned from the Ukraine war about the Russian S-300 system is that they're not nearly as formidable as we had thought they would be. So I would put very low probability that the S-300s are going to be able to take care of that. Plus, again, when we go back and we start talking about the different intel on the ground that was able to assess if all of this happened, it's just having a problem.
Well, following up on that, what do we know about the Iranian capabilities then? But yeah, what do we know about the Iranian capabilities on responding?
I was thinking the same thing.
In which way? Was it
Responding back towards Israel? Is that your question?
One, responding back to Israel, and two is protecting whatever is coming from Israel.
Yeah. Protecting what's coming from Israel, their best shots, and likely Israel's actually launched a bunch of cruise missiles and whatnot from
the Iranians, then Israel can do it to any other country in the region. That's
wait me real quick, bro. I got a question. I need tech support.
I will always have hope for Palestine. Within the borders of Palestine, we can deal a heavy cost to the Israelis as long as we're not expelled. Other than that, everything happening outside of Palestine is a complete frustration by everybody, the Turks, the Arabs, the Iranians.
Yeah, dude, I know it's great, bro.
Go ahead and send it here. We don't know things. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
May I make a quick comment? Sure. I am confused about all this. So I went into history. And I understand that the Brits were there after the war. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody, because it was part of the Ottoman Empire. And the Brits, after the First World War, the Brits, the French, and I think there was another nation.
Ashkenazi Czernigie przyjaźń to.
Dumb as fuck.
Yeah, the smart Europeans, which were born, they didn't got any children.
targets. And again, if they do have a nuclear warhead, now would be the time for them to use it, to be perfectly honest, because the regime's in danger of losing power, right? Like, desperate times call for desperate measures type things. But quantity, it definitely is going to end up being one of those things that Iran is going to be looking at using in order to get those missiles through. The question is how likely are they going to be? And that's where I tend to be with the accuracy of the missiles. If they can try to take out the locations like Sahel, they try to act that again, and they launch 20 out opposed to just
the offer of a state and determined together to wipe out the Jewish state. I'll mute now and you keep going if you.
Real quick, so I can stay organized. Don't forget what you're going to say, Jay. But remember, we're talking about apartheid, right? What's happening here is not. I'm trying to hold on, Jay. I'm just trying to keep track. You know, if anybody wants to help make sense out of El Normo's counter argument, you know. If you talk over me, or I'll respect this. I will put you in the boot. So, great. I think that if somebody wants to help me, it did make sense. If it made sense to anybody else, that'd be great, you know.
Okay.
Because I'm going to mark it down as apartheid.
Yeah.
And I hope you know what you're talking about, because I think you just got it different.
Yeah, I mean, Norm is right to characterize the situation as very complex and tragic.
Someone going to speak to the shark bag first.
I was about to go there. I'm sorry. I always kind of try to put my conversation into larger context. So yeah, a lot of what Norm says is true. However, I have to say, you know, I'm a very, very fair person. I don't think it justifies anything with what's going on in Gaza right now. It's a tragedy and it's horrific.
Is it apartheid or is it not?
I think so. I think it is.
All right, so you can't answer that in the question. Thank you, Larry. Hopefully you can try to say something else.
Oh, well, you want specific examples? Yeah, sorry, I have to do my homework.
I need somebody that's going to help support Normo's counter argument, so make sure they're fair to figure out how to get to this point at a time.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gazans can't leave, enter Israel, and come out of Israel freely. Oh, okay. Yeah.
By the way, 20,000 Gazans came into Israel for a day to work. We paid them 10 times what they would get paid in Gaza, and they returned home. Those people later invaded and slaughtered the people that employed them, and the Gaza and local positions.
I'm marking as a part.
I wouldn't sweeping generalization on.
All right, so we've got it. It's apartheid. So I have that noted. Let's move on to whatever else. I guess Jay, you wanted some clarity before we move on to the next estimate. Go ahead, Jay. Hopefully you didn't forget.
I kind of have, but it's okay. It's not a problem.
Okay, let's move on.
Question is are you looking for evidence to support your claim?
We got that. Like you said, we're going on this. Unless somebody can provide some kind of counter argument. You might just got input, but we're not providing evidence for anything.
So was there a law or a policy of racial discrimination anywhere in Israel? Did anybody come up with an answer?
That.
So he feels it outside.
That's why I support this thing.
Yeah.
It's got me wrong. Like I want to be.
He didn't say apartheid. He said it was intention to dominate and inhumane, and it was systematic repression.
He didn't say that all three of those things met the requirements for apartheid based on
Yes, international law. Now listen,
international law.
Can anybody provide a counter argument? If not, we're just going to move on to the next thing, the next claim.
Quickly though, I need a question. So when Norm was talking about Gaza not in Israel like proper,
No,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh no, I disagree with him.
Okay, well, it's I got it marked down.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Aside from it. Okay. Next.
I was just calling real quick. It would seem like by that loose definition, practically every country in the world is apartheid, especially the entire Arab world, including the United States. So I think we're being a little dishonest.
What's an area in the United States where two people are occupying the same area? Like one.
That wasn't the definition. That wasn't the definition. The definition was a separate system. Have you ever heard that there's two different systems?
I don't think I've heard of one from what they were saying, so that you can actually accurately respond when I'm talking.
There's two different systems in the
I don't know if you've heard the middle fucking talking.
She asked anyone disagree with this assessment, so I started speaking out here. So I asked a question and then you can respond. Have you heard that there are two separate legal systems in the U.S.? Yes.
The exceptional beard and his unexceptional makeup.
I didn't hear what you said.
Smokey. Yes, Calvin. Make these gentlemen receive $12,000 piece. $12,000. Pleasure doing business.
I think with Native Americans, they have self-governance in some area.
I hear you, brother, and I feel like you're trying to contribute in good faith, but like, you know, it is a little bit disruptive. Like I'm trying to.
Spending too much time on it, just go right ahead, class.
I'd like to hear from the person who actually said it. You know what I'm saying?
I was referring to the different justice systems for African Americans versus their counterparts.
Oh, great. Yes, perfect. Got it.
And the other guy made up a good point. There are separate territories, like Norm was mentioning, Zone A, B, and C, where reservations are under different jurisdictions, different laws than people that aren't in those jurisdictions. So that would seem apartheid as well.
No, that's under federal law, though. Apartheid. Hold on, no, because we're having a back and forth. We're having a back and forth. Please control yourself. Please fucking control yourself. So yeah, that's actually not anything at all. Like no, Native American reservations are not operating in an apartheid type of manner. It feels condescending to explain that to a grown adult. So I don't really want to go beyond that statement. That's a ridiculous assertion to make. Nobody is getting profiled for not living or for not being Native American when they're in a reservation. Like that's not a fucking thing that happens. That is the most unbelievably bad thing argument you could possibly make in this scenario. Which is why, hold on, which is why I was saying that there's no point in arguing with science. So if we're talking about Africa, if you're talking about the two justice systems, so if you're talking about, please shut the fuck up so I can finish talking. Excellent. Please remain shutting the fuck up. Yeah, so when you're talking about two justice systems, I think that would be a great argument to make that America is operating under a highly oppressive state against black people. The thing is that there are not actual law, and again, this feels condescending to say to a grown adult because it's obviously stupid. There are not two literal justice systems in America. That is something that black people are trying to convince white people of a reality of an oppressive state that we live under in this country. So if you're arguing that, like, well, America is an apartheid state too, then I would say, cool, we might be a little closer aligned than you fucking think. But I don't think that that's the assertion that you're making. There are not two literal legal systems for black people. It's just that one group is persecuted more, prosecuted more, illegally arrested more than any other group in this country. But there are not two actual legal systems for black people. You gotta be able to fucking anybody would even take that kind of argument seriously.
There are 3 points of oppression, but my main point was the Arab world is clearly apartheid, and I just threw in the United United States as an extra bonus. But your definition didn't say two separate existences. The 3 points specifically included power and oppression, correct? Of different ethnicity.
I was simply just responding what you said, brother. It's when you say you can't argue with Zionists, these niggas are stupid.
No, but you responded by throwing in a fourth bullet point of your definition of apartheid.
I was, because that's what my friends were going on, and I found out all about it.
Yeah, I don't understand what he's trying to say by completing.
I don't know either.
No, what I was saying,
It's already shipment.
Maybe, I guess, the similarities between state and federal, because all states have different laws from each other, but they all fall under federal authority, including Native American reservations. So no, you're incorrect.
He doesn't even know what his own point is that he's trying to make. Like, this
Well,
is
answer me
this
this
is an
next
exercise
question. Would
in
you say that
futility.
the Arab countries are apartheid states? All of them.
Who wants to answer that?
I don't fucking care. We're talking about Israel.
No Jews, no news, God.
We're literally talking about Israel.
No, you're calling out injustice in apartheid states because until everyone is free, nobody is free, correct?
They are,
Give an example. Give your example. Give a quick one.
Could you repeat the 3 points of an apartheid system again, just so the room is well aware?
I'm a fucking smart guy. This is great.
I got it. To maintain domination by one racial group over another. A context of systematic oppression by the dominant group over the marginalized group. Inhumane acts. To be honest, those things are very vague and could be applied to a lot of countries.
Okay, so it seems very clear that in the Arab world, a system exists between Muslims and non-Muslims, making
Different
every
types of
Arab
stuff.
country an apartheid state.
Yeah, but you didn't list that.
You didn't hit all of the three.
Which one wasn't it?
Rohan, cut hit all three, right?
So, you mean as far as the legal framework for apartheid?
Yeah.
Yes,
This
it
is not
says.
this is a made-up framework, bro. It's not a definition of
Bro,
what.
everything in the world is made up.
No, apartheid actually has a meaning.
Yes.
That's why we quote something in South Africa. You don't just
I'm not
invent a
looking
new
for the meaning. I think we all understand the meaning. What I'm looking for is the requirement to, make it that the description, the criteria.
Yeah.
I think in this case, the meaning is in the requirement. So like if we establish,
Exactly. No,
right, so
I mean, we can go ahead and, if you guys really want to state the meaning and then what we're looking for criteria.
I do think like a criteria would be good to
I mean, it helps hammer
establish.
it out.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to read.
Right.
I'm trying to. So, here it is. This definition is from the 1973 Apartheid Convention. I would imagine that maybe knows something about apartheid. And it comes under the Rome Statute, which is from the International Court of Appeals, the International Criminal Court. And between those two, they established 3 elements for apartheid. Those elements are: 1, intent to dominate one group by another; 2, systematic oppression; and 3, inhumane acts. Those are the 3 things that establish apartheid by international courts.
That is wild. And was anybody ever brought up on these charges and had the opportunity to confront their defense? It's very wild. And had the opportunity to confront their accuser and provide the evidence? Did that ever happen, or is this something that somebody decided ex parte? So, just wondering. Ask me for a friend. You're out of. You don't have any audio.
Which one of those points does the Muslim governments not do to the non-Muslims within the Arab world? It seems very obviously clear that the non-Muslims meet all 3 of those points of oppression, power dynamics, marginalization, and violence.
Which
This will be one of them.
Non-Muslim populations within the
this will be one about Israel, right? Because
Exactly.
No, but the whole theory is everyone's an apartheid. There's many apartheid states.
Okay,
You're
well,
kind of claiming Israel seems to be this lone,
I'm not.
apartheid state in the world.
No, that's your theory. Yeah, nobody said that they're the only apartheid state in the world. We're talking about Israel right now. People are talking about the problems. Absolutely, we can do that.
Yeah, the problem I'm hearing is the moment Rohan or anybody says, let's just narrow this down to Israel. I've heard people say, okay, well, let's talk about America. Let's talk about what they're doing in Antarctica. Like, we're talking about a specific thing, and it seems like you're trying to obfuscate or distract us from the conversation.
No, I think what he's doing is he's halfway admitting that it's an apartheid state, but so is everything else. Should everything else?
No, I'm just trying to say,
Everything else was something.
I hear outrage all day long about Israel being an apartheid. Not once in the past 2 years have I heard any mention of not one Arab country being an apartheid state. So given that you guys care so much about justice, freedom, and individual liberty, I just find that quite alarming and somewhat surprising. And I don't believe it's whataboutism. I believe it's a critique of your intentions.
Okay, Judas.
And your values.
Judas, if you're right. Okay, Chris. Now what?
Hold on for a second.
I think racism is insane that you're going to go immediately to Arab people.
So, all right, so listen, right now, I don't see any pushback on Israel being an apartheid. And then, one second, Norma. And I guess if you guys want to entertain this, and I'm fine with it, what Jihad said, I think what you should do, Jihad, is the same thing that Honorable has to do. So go ahead and give us,
No, I don't think Rohan gave the proof. He said some of the legal system. And I pointed out the countries have a one. Hang on. That's the only one he said. Legal system. And I pointed out to you that inside of America, there's one legal system. Outside, we're not subject, like in Mexico, we're not subject to their legal system. I pointed that out. Outside of Israel, Israeli citizens are subject to the Israeli legal system, and non-Israelis are not. That seems fair to me.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and by the way, they're subject to Palestinian Authority law, by the way, which is the same thing. So Jews don't enjoy the benefits of Palestinian Authority law. In fact, we're not allowed into the Palestinian Authority.
There is no, what benefit?
So yeah, what happened? You said that
Living, thriving,
Building,
living, thriving,
where they
in the Palestinian Authority. In area A. In area A, it's quite rich out there, over there. It's very rich.
I did just say that.
Yeah.
You're talking about area A.
Yes, I am.
How do you get over there? You just drive straight?
Yeah.
There's
There's one checkpoint leaving
okay,
Israel.
there you go. There, right there, the fact that they cannot move. Alright? You already, there you go. This goes to prohibit
That's crossing the border.
because they
That's
are.
crossing the border. When you leave Israel, you cross the border. You leave the country. So there's a checkpoint.
What happens when Palestinians try to go into any, I don't know, you want to call it.
Okay. When an Arab comes in, when a non-citizen Arab comes into an Israeli area, they are checked. When a non-citizen Israeli goes into an Arab area, they are checked. Once they're killed by it. There's no difference there. That's not a separate legal system. I'm telling you, I'm just there. What do you want to know?
All right, so listen, this is what happened, right? So when you said that, I don't think people were really understanding what you said. So I opened the floor. So hold on. So I opened the floor for anyone else to support your counter argument. We didn't get much. I know we got a whataboutism, and I get it. We will. I said we can entertain that too, but you just provide the proof the same way Rohan did. If you guys want to entertain it, but you're saying that people aren't seeing it, even the people on your side, unless they take another stab at it. Anyone want to support what Normal said?
Well, this is not.
Move on to the next. Yes.
This is the strength of an argument, not anybody's support. Rohan mentioned vague things. Oppression, inhumane, dominate. He didn't give one single example, except for separate legal systems. And I pointed out that Israelis have an Israeli legal system. Palestinians have a Palestinian legal system.
So this is
That's
true.
not apartheid. That's not apartheid.
I actually have written down what I said. So here it is. But you gotta go on mute. I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. So the HRW documented widespread policies affecting Palestinians, including
Name one, yeah.
What the fuck? Are you, bro? You gotta be old. My 3-year-old nephew doesn't do this.
Including, name one.
Anyhow, you just want me to start again. Documented widespread policies affecting Palestinians, including, and I read it before, movement restrictions, checkpoints, barriers, land confiscation, home demolitions, forcible displacement, denial of residency, and dual legal system. Dual legal system was number 4 in the list.
So, no examples of any of the others, right? Or am I wrong? Not one example.
I was so compatible with it not being apartheid. But do they have a specific, like, here's a specific case where the government said, hey, because of your ethnicity or race, you can't do this? Or is it like security issues? Like, can we actually get details as to what it is?
I'm saying, that's exactly where I'm coming from.
So now, hold on, I just want people to see what just happened. First thing was, the only thing I mentioned was dual laws. Turns out that's not.
The only one we can start. Oh my God.
You can't help it. It's like, you can't help it. There's something about impulse control and IQ that we won't get into, like impulse control and rational thinking. But I'm gonna post those in the chat. I'm gonna post those in the chat in a little bit. What it talks about impulse control and how it correlates with poor rational thinking. That'll be my last.
Don't forget to include the fragility.
I'm gonna get this out.
Go ahead.
So I want people to realize what just happened. We slid from the only thing I mentioned was dual laws. Turns out that was number 4 on the list. So without even saying, you know what, I was wrong about that, they're now trying to slide to, well, I didn't give specific examples. Instead of saying, let's go to the specific examples, because there are people.
That's my.
Well, the timeline.
So,
Because I never, this is my first time I really, traveling. Because I'm kind of agnostic to what you just told me.
So I'm gonna go through the report now from it's actually called Abusive Israeli Policies Constitute Crimes of Apartheid and Persecution, Crimes Against Humanity Should Trigger Action to End Repression of Palestinians. This is by the Human Rights Watch. So I'm gonna go through now and make some examples for you guys. But just don't keep moving the goalposts. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for your argument to keep doing that. Give me some time.
I think there's a lot of confusion on what these areas even are. I mean, in order to keep trying to draw distinctions. Remember what actually the goalpost is actually going to do. The first claim was Israel is an apartheid state. The West Bank isn't. Unless you want to say that's Israel, then okay, then all those Palestinians no longer get that West Bank. Then I guess Oslo, of course, has been solved. I guess they annexed it then. But if you don't want to make that claim, and that is going to eventually be a Palestinian state, maybe, then what is the claim? That Israel should have their laws be put on there.
Does that still mean that I can't into the West Bank and what's your what do you mean?
An architecture.
For example, of Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the city of Jenin and Tukar, as we've been fighting.
Okay, so probably west.
So there are massive weapons caches, and
where's the proof of that?
Well, we photographed it.
Come on now, it's like you're supposed to mass destruction shit.
Where? Now let's make some mass destruction.
With the link in.
Sure. Okay.
You're saying that you're bearing weapons of mass destruction. Please.
I didn't say weapons of mass destruction.
I know you did. That was making a okay.
Like the joke or something?
Everybody was told that there was because the joke is more metaphor. Okay.
So do you want the list of the terrorist organizations in Geneva?
Put the proof. Go right ahead.
You want the proof of the terrorists in Geneva?
Yeah.
Provide transportation and I put the proof in the chat.
With the proof.
Okay.
Of what you claim is in the West Bank, the idea has to go there. You're talking about,
So chat. Hang on. It's coming on. Okay. This is from January 23rd, 2025. That's the first thing that came up. So, government in Geneva attack Jews in Israel and in Judea and Samaria. They are run by both Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. By the way, some of them in Geneva participated in the October 7th attack and in numerous terrorist attacks in Israel proper. They actually come into Israel, despite what you were falsely calling them apartheid. They do come and go into Israel. I just put the first thing that came up, I just did terrorism in Geneva. There is a ton of it. Israel's been fighting a war for survival for decades. So let's go to another one. France 24. Here's a weeks-long West Bank operation. They have terrorist infrastructure there. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in the chat. That's from France 24. I mean, there's so many examples that you go, oh, it's just not allowing. Okay.
So let's talk about some of the illegal things that Israel has done in the West Bank, right?
Well, no, wait. I'm talking about terrorism. You want to change? We can go away from the terrorism. It's just a fact. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't even mention the paper slave program that, Leslie here had.
I thought you said there was you mentioned weapons. Where's the pictures of your weapons?
Okay.
The link I sent has a weapon.
Hang on.
Where are the pictures of weapons to Jimmy?
Hang on.
The one I sent, the link I sent.
This just looks like
The link I sent.
this is a bullshit article. You don't even see nothing going on. You're like, what are you?
Bullshit article.
What is this?
Okay.
Where's
Hang
the
on.
picture?
Well, you can read it. You will know what it is. Hang on. Now, Googling the weapons. Numerous weapons caches have been discovered in Geneva, a city in the West Bank known for first of all as a hub for Palestinian militant groups. That was the first answer. Here comes Times of Israel. Okay? Explosives. Weapons. Hang on here. And hang on. Many other terrorist implements, I guess you could say. The fortified.
What is this FDC?
I think that might have been the Foundations of Defense of Democracy. This is the Times of Israel. Wait, this is just, I have no idea how much of this is being discovered. Here comes another one, Jerusalem Post.
I don't know, this is giving 40 dead beheaded babies. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing which was...
No, I don't know what to mean.
Yeah,
I don't know what to mean.
Like,
So,
that was
okay.
that was spreading around, okay?
Yeah, but that's not what it is.
But it was not real, no. The president even said it was not real. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Fourth
Yeah,
is,
so, I mean, like, the sources are clearly biased. Like, come on now.
fine. Okay. You just asked me for the source. Now you don't like the source. I get it.
Palestinian terrorists
Yeah.
really kill Israeli policewomen in West Bank City.
Yeah, that happened. You're cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Good.
Yeah. Well, you're the murderers.
It didn't happen, but if it did happen, it was good anyway.
Then you're a murderous
If
psychopath.
it did happen,
It didn't happen, but if it did, it should have
Terrorists
happened.
again organized.
You're a psychopath.
Wait, I need to organize. Give me a second. Wait.
Please, sister.
Wait, please. Let me check on Ryan, no rush. How are you? I'm sorry.
Stop unmuting me. Let me mute
Shut
myself.
the fuck up. Well, not even like your ass. Alright? I will mute you, I will kick you, I'll do what the fuck I want.
14 terrorists eliminated. Weapons cache located in Geneva operation.
He has no control. Is this part of the video? I'm ready whenever the street clears.
I just gave you the weapons cache, by the way. I mean, there's tons of this. There's like every day.
Okay, cool. Alright, so
We're a wall with that.
this
Yeah.
he is crazy.
I'm crazy? Oh, I know what I'm talking about.
Stop interrupting it. How is this hard?
He doesn't have the ability.
I'm the one person on the stage defending the Jews. The one person.
Hey, and I might get you.
Hey, I've been a good boy.
Alright,
You're not the one.
time, Snorky.
That's the one that does. You're not a boy, sir.
Okay, cool. So, some people were asking for examples. So I'll get right into examples. But I didn't want to say that that argument that keeps coming up about Israel state and what happens inside the state to me is nonsensical because if somebody said, well, World War II Germany, were they really terroristic against the Jews? Because most of the murders of Jews happened outside of Germany. Nobody would make that argument, right? Because it's silly. It's an embarrassing argument to keep making. But
That's not what I'm saying.
I am going to keep reading. So let me get to my point. For examples, torture and abuse in detention. So this is documented by the UN Committee Against Torture, Human Rights Watch, the Israeli Human Rights NGO, and Public Committee Against Torture in Israel. Methods reported: beating during interrogation, stress position, sleep deprivation, threats of rape or harm to detainees or their families, excessive isolation, tight handcuffing, continuous physical abuse.
I'm Israel Child, and much support to the Indian LGBTQ community. My fellow whites, welcome to New York.
And children. Many Palestinian minors have been subjected to physical and psychological
Black
abuse.
Lives Matter. I'm Israel.
By UNICEF and the Defense for Children International and most organizations. It says contact with the military detention system appears to be widespread, systematic, and institutionalized.
For transformation.
Widespread, and it's like
Our
built
bold
into the
Jewish
institutions.
pioneer who sparked a revolution in the 1920s with the first gender-affirming surgeries at his Institute for Sexual Science. Caring and world love for all identities. But the evil Nazis torched his institute in 1933, burned our precious transgender books, tried to erase it.
So the use of administrative detention has been held without charge or trial for years, usually of all evidence. Used extensively. As of 2024, 1,200 Palestinians were in administrative detention, and there were no charges, and they cannot defend themselves in court. These charges were it says no charges, cannot defend themselves in court, often renewed endlessly. And then it goes into talk about the blockades, severe restrictions of movement, humanitarian crises, shortage of medicine, fuel, clean water, and building materials, collapse of the economy, frequent intentional electricity blackouts, and excessive force killings, using live ammunition against unarmed protesters. Over 200 Palestinians have just killed in violent protests. Home demolitions, they use it as punishment against families of suspected attackers, condemned by the UN and major human rights group as collective punishment and inhumane treatment. So, in summary, torture, detention, ill-treatment of children, inhumane treatment, torture of children, administrative detention, blockade, excessive force. I mean, this is documented by the UN, UNICEF, HRW, the CRC, Amnesty International, on and on and on. This is not Rohan speaking. So I'll rest the tea. I mean, there's so much more. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the argument is. Like, all of them are bad. Like, bad thing being apartheid. Oh, we got to apartheid. Really need to catch up on what the fuck we mean by this word. You read off a bunch of bad things, but to me, those all seem compatible under non-apartheid states. Like, I don't see why the U.S. couldn't do those same things to, like, random black people. Would we call that apartheid? Maybe we would. That seems widely out of range with how we usually use it. I mean, if that's what we mean by apartheid, fine. This was an apartheid state. I don't even care about that one, but that just doesn't seem how like we typically use it.
Are you saying it doesn't meet the criteria for apartheid as defined in international law?
No, that just doesn't seem how we use apartheid. What he just named, like detention, harsh treatment. Like that's we do that to African Americans. I don't think we'd say if we live in an apartheid state. And then you might say it's a different degree, yada yada yada, but then I can also just say they're in wartime. It's terrorists. Yeah.
So do you think it's just a coincidence that all the major organizations that study apartheid have come to this conclusion? I mean, is that, hold on, no, I want to finish my sentence for one time. This time I want to finish my sentence. Do you think that it's just a coincidence that all the major organizations that study this, the people with expertise, with knowledge of what's happening, with case studies, matter of fact, I'm going to pull some case studies next, with case studies, and they all come to the same conclusion? Is that just a coincidence, or could there be another reason why they all come to the same conclusion?
I mean, yeah, it could be possible. There's apartheid that exists, not apartheid, but what you've read doesn't seem to be anything like apartheid. I would just love to see them actually take this to court and be like, hey, you should get on apartheid because you're, fucking up kids and torturing them. That's what apartheid means. It's fair, okay, sure, that's what we mean by apartheid. But until then, it just seems like we're listing off bad things and saying bad things equal apartheid. No, it doesn't seem like any of those things mean. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any of those things mean any necessary condition of apartheid.
And Rogan, just to be clear, where did you get that source from? Where's that coming from?
Which one? This.
No, the criteria.
Oh, the criteria.
Oh.
But the criteria comes from. Let me go back up real quick. That criteria that I listed comes from. Here it is. It comes so it says these are applied definitions from the 1973 Apartheid Convention. I might be posted in the chat. And the Rome Statute from the International Criminal Courts. These establish 3 elements for apartheid: intent, oppression, and inhumane acts. Yeah.
So.
And the oppression is.
What's the intent part? I didn't get the intent part.
Sure. Intent to dominate one group by another.
Oh, what's the evidence of that? Oh, you have evidence for the intent part? Oh, show me. I would like to see that.
Okay, yeah.
Persecution of Muslims. Persecution of Muslims.
Oh, I mean, that shows one. Persecution of Muslims. Wait, there's persecution of Muslims? Okay. Yeah, you have to list off cases of that. Yeah, I'm not sure persecution of Muslims. That's not even persecution of Palestinians. Because if you mean persecution of Palestinians, not every Palestinian is Muslim. You're Christian Palestinians.
Sure.
Why you brought up
What do you mean
Muslims?
like
I don't know
Muslims?
why. We just keep it up Palestinians. Why? Because pretty religious.
Let's keep it religious. Keep it pretty secular. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be very hard to show. That's for sure.
Wait. All right. So what do you need to meet that criteria?
I mean, it'll be a couple things. It might be subjective. One thing is going to be classified data or something like that shows hey, this is elite. Did we have intentions to dominate these people? This isn't because we're in a military or warfare situation.
Sounds good. All right, here you go. Here is Netanyahu giving this a 10. There's another source if you don't like Al Jazeera.
What is this?
Here's his intent. He's showing intent.
Wait. Intent for what? Intent for what? That wasn't even. That's not even what's the contention. The contention is about the apartheid situation in the West Bank. Gaza is totally. They're not even.
All right, hold on.
We're talking about the West Bank. We're not talking about Gaza. If we were talking about Israel proper originally, we had to move over to the West Bank.
What is Israel proper?
Well, Israel proper is gonna. That's just gonna be a clear distinction between areas A, B, and C.
You're looking for intent of one group dominating another group, or what is it?
I want
Yeah, the intent that any of these policies are intent to just hold domination over another, and that hey, we're doing this for safety reasons. We're doing this until the Oslo Accords be finished, until these negotiations be finished. Again, that whole area is disputed because we don't know if it's going to be a Palestinian state or an Israeli state. It's really why you can't put laws over there, because if you were to do that, then it would be an Israeli state. Well, Israel, I should say.
So then we should look for the proof. If anybody's interested in doing so, look for the proof of that. And then in the meantime, why don't you tell me what the intent? In the meantime, why don't you tell me what the intent is by your interpretation?
I think the intent is to keep things as support as you can. During the circumstance, given the context, I think you do have a bunch of agendas going on. And by I say that, I mean you have the disturbance going on in the West Bank as far as Area C. So you have a lot of moving parts going on there. But the apartheid system that they're still be talking about is going to be situations where Palestinians are going to Area C, putting up houses, and they're demolishing them because those are illegal. The same thing, Jews can't do that in Area A. Are we going to call Area A an apartheid state because if a Jew puts the house there that's going to get demolished? It seems kind of silly. It's just a different. I understand it's a totally different from what we're used to. It's totally different, but it's. I'll say this: if you want to call it apartheid, fine, but it will never be finished. We'll never clear
Okay,
up
look at
apartheid.
the last three,
That's
especially
fine. Just want to finish this.
it says Israel is moving towards full annexation of the West Bank.
That's fine.
That's their intention.
Well, they do. Well, that's not going to be dominated. If they do annex it,
that's all.
but just be clear, if they do annex it, then they will be Israel, and those people will be presumably become citizens or get pushed out, and therefore that apartheid.
Again, the intent is there. Each one of those things that I sent you.
But that wouldn't be apartheid. But annexing it wouldn't be apartheid.
Bro,
Can I try?
The intent to dominate. Can you go ahead?
Sure. Intent to dominate is not intent to annex.
Hold on, I wanted to read the rest of it.
Yes, intent to dominate one group or another.
That's right.
Within the same country, right? It has to be within the same country to be considered apartheid, right? Yes or no?
I don't know actually. I don't think it seems like it would have to be no. It seems like it would have to.
Right.
It just intuitively to me, it just seems like it would have to be the case. I think it's maybe something special. Yeah, I don't know. But that's I mean, I don't know. Maybe that is.
So ideas about intent go like this. It says here, the goal of the settlement policy was to create a permanent Jewish presence to prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state. It says this shows intent to dominate. The policy of permanent settlement is designed to make
apparently out of the 150, only 9 of them,
Jewish
hit the
Israelis
ground.
as a
So
dominant group. In addition,
I don't
the
know,
dual
we'll see
legal
what
system
happens
is not
in the
incidental.
coming
The
hours.
system was designed and maintained intentionally to provide superior legal status to one ethnic group over another. Then it says movement restrictions. It said, and it quotes some person saying security is not the only consideration behind these restrictions.
Iran is not
Demographic
capable of
considerations are at play. So when movement restrictions are used, not just for short-term security, but to control the ability of the population to move, develop economically, or organize politically, this is domination. Then it quotes settlements, every community will remain under Israel's sovereignty, intent to dominate. Then it talks about denial of rights to return citizenship laws. So it says, it's quoting Justice Minister saying, Israel must ensure a Jewish majority. That is the basis of our policy. This shows the intent to dominate through citizenship and residency policies, explicitly prioritizing and preserving Jewish demographic dominance. So, and there's more. It's like, so these are intentional policies put in place to dominate another group.
I think that means right here. I think that means that.
You can just send it to me. This never made it. Never made
I'm sorry?
We're stuck from Arabia. Greetings from Israel's eternal end.
We now know that there's
Questions will show that it's not apartheid.
No, it's not even.
so is it a partner?
get sick.
I don't think it's apartheid, but I
So do you want to go through other criteria from the ICC?
With
We're
ICC,
just talking about, hey, wait, kind of get one way too fast. We're talking about the intent. I would like to see Rohan. I would like to see on other criteria. Not on the same criteria, which seems to be the necessary component, to be honest. So I would like to see what he read, like going over clones, because and one of them I throw hot, it was about the right return.
Well, if you could go through those, but then yeah, because we'll go through the intent. What are the other?
What are we doing now? Let me moderate.
He wants more proof.
More proof?
Yeah, that's.
Hold on.
I know, but see, I can answer what I want. I have no idea. He read it. I
know. You just told me, okay, that we want to go through the intent. That's the criteria that you wanted to go through. That's
what Rohan is showing. Yes, that's what. Wait, this. Okay, I said one of the biggest criteria is exposure. The criteria is intent. I asked Rohan was given. I am Alex. I'm Alex. Rohan was given evidence for intent. I said he read it off, and now I'm asking Rohan, can you send it to me? You just send it to me. I'm gonna read through it. It's not that hard to track what happened.
Yeah, you got way too many words. I don't know what you had to do that for some reason.
Because you aren't understanding. Every time I say it, you repeat something different.
Where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do? Next?
No, at this point he needs to read what Rohan said. I think Rohan, you said something.
High breaking news, multiple rockets have struck in the heart of Tel Aviv.
Did they land?
Well, you said some rockets hit Tel Aviv.
Did they land?
He does that all the time. He goes into rooms and does that.
No, look at the news, schmuck.
Yeah, I looked 2 minutes ago. Iran strikes are shaking buildings in Israel.
Yeah, but they land though.
Iran's retaliatory strikes are shaking buildings in Israel, according to former Israeli ambassador. It says Iran fired hundreds of various ballistic missiles towards Israel. And what? Tehran, yeah, I know, I'm trying to get to the point. But it looks like they had to have landed. Some of them had to have landed because from the picture I'm seeing right now, it's showing rocket trails.
That could be, yeah, but they could have shot it down and the debris came down.
True. Alright, I dropped the thing real quick.
Yeah, please do. I'm gonna keep my hopes up.
Okay, there it is.
You're gonna keep your hopes up because innocent people died, you sick, twisted bitch. Go look in the mirror and then go to the gym and unfuck your brain, you twisted slut, whore, filthy, vile cunt. Wishing for people's death. Oh yeah, is that what it's like in the ghetto? You wish for people to die on your street, you sick, twisted bitch.
Yeah, you don't care about murder.
Oh man, we got him, bitch. We got him, bitch.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. No, what the fuck are you panting?
Yeah, let's move on.
Just stop. Shh. It's fine.
What? Shush what? Who are you? Look at my phone. I don't know what I'm supposed to shush what? What is that?
I also agree with you about this, but I'm not gonna completely rejoice. Let's keep it.
Okay, that's you.
So if I can try at this, basically there is Israel.
Yes, totally ended. Sorry.
Wait. There is. Oh, okay. Mashallah. Okay. There is. Look. there is Israel proper, then there's other disputed territory. Let's say Gaza, West Bank, what else? East Jerusalem. What's the other one? The last one? Golden Heights, right? So if you can indeed, let's just say, apartheid non-citizens, or whatever the case may be, like does that? Then that is apartheid. But if apartheid is only within a country, within its own borders, whatever the case may be, then it's not apartheid. You should. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys?
I'm sorry, can you explain it again?
It depends on apartheid. For example, in Russia and Ukraine, Russia would be committing apartheid. There's like a disputed territory, right? And I don't even know if Ukraine would be considered committing apartheid. Yeah. Those are not Israel proper, right? And that's what we're. As we're saying, there is apartheid.
You gave yourself a bad experience.
Yeah, I know, but you see what I mean, though, right?
Can I respond to that directly?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. So it says, apartheid does not have to be limited to within a country's own borders. While apartheid is most famously associated with the internal policies of South Africa, the legal definition of apartheid under international law is broader and can apply extraterritorially, that is beyond the state's own border.
Oh, then it's apartheid 100%. Where's the lawyer that was here that lied to us about the law and stuff like this? He's actually right there. Normal, come up for a second.
I forgot he was still in the audience. So I know he folks.
No, there's not. We have a definition. So yes, you can be committing apartheid in non-Israel proper. Does that make sense? Golden Heights, West Bank, Gaza, the other one. There.
That's why it's so annoying, man.
You think Gaza's an apartheid state too? I have to come back to hear that. You think Gaza's an apartheid state? How?
Anyhow, states or entities, that argument is so stupid, when you guys start making it, can be held responsible for apartheid practices they carry out in territories they control or occupy, even if those territories are outside their formal sovereign borders. Again, nobody would argue, well, World War II Germany wasn't really all the way terroristic because the Jews were mostly gassed in foreign countries. It's similar enough to say that the location of the actual apartheid actions is meaningless. It means nothing.
Being similar enough is what that's meaningless. Like that is from any point.
No. It's a parallel.
By definition, from it.
No, the parallel is here's a parallel. Here's what makes it an analogy that works. Because it's not the same thing to be an analogy, right? If it were the same thing, it would not be an analogy.
I'm not saying it's not the same thing. I'm saying the analogy is properly the small section.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about it. We're talking about if bad actions taken by a state, if the location of those actions determine this particular definition that we're talking about. So the location of the actions is meaningless.
And by the way, that's not me or Norm's argument either, by the way.
Oh, okay. So now we're moving to it's not the argument.
I never said anything about location.
What is it the
argument? Norm tried to correct you earlier when you tried to do that. Horrible people here with this, like.
But there is a location.
It's very
location thing. It is nothing to do with location.
What? So West Bank, comma, what is it? What West Bank, comma?
Right.
West Bank, comma. I don't know.
The point is, being inside or outside the borders make absolutely no difference on how we determine if a state is terroristic or apartheid-like or not.
I agree. That's why that wasn't me Norm's point, which might be wrong.
Oh my gosh, that was the point the whole time.
No, it wasn't. And you were even trying to say it wasn't.
The entire time.
That's what you're getting.
Right.
Oh my, Michael made that stupid point. We never made that point. At least I didn't respond. I'll be clear, say I never did it.
T, am I crazy?
No. Orville was responding to his point.
So we If your point is Israel is horrible, is your point that Israel is horrible, or is your point that Israel is apartheid or has apartheid system?
It has apartheid system by definition in Gaza, West Bank, East Jerusalem, Golan.
I don't think you want to say all that. Let's just pick one. Otherwise, you don't really know what you're talking about. Like you don't know what about Jerusalem. Let's take one at a time. Okay. So where is there apartheid?
Okay, let's take West Bank.
Okay. Well, we go there. Where is it apartheid? Go ahead.
All of it.
Okay. So let's say if I go to a place called Efrat in the West Bank, is apartheid there?
No.
Not in Efrat. Okay. So tell me where. How about Ramallah? Is there apartheid there?
What about Hebron?
Okay. That's a big example. Let's go to Hebron. Okay. Now, what's happening in Hebron? Do you know what Hebron is?
Don't worry, I don't want to sit around talking to you, nor don't worry, I have.
Me neither. Let's talk about Hebron.
For you, don't you worry.
No, I just want to ask you. Tell me about apartheid in Hebron. I want to learn. Anybody? Bueller? No.
Wait for me.
What is the apartheid? Okay. So you don't know, but you're going to try to find, right? What is the apartheid?
I know it exists, so trust me.
You know it exists?
Yeah, so just
okay.
Let's wait for the links, my goodness.
I don't want the links. I'm just talking.
Yeah, the links are very strong things. We'll get the links and we'll talk about it.
We're talking about human rights, but I don't know what their authority is supposed to be. Israel has never been charged with it. Israel has never been on trial with it. This is just somebody saying that Israel has apartheid.
By the definition of what? Rohan, was that the definition of the United, like what was that? Where'd you get that?
Because this is...
Guys, what the fuck? Get the definition yourselves, alright?
I'm in the car.
Denominate, I think, is the big thing. Like, somebody's had bad intentions or something.
You gotta be some strong denial, right? So.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna I don't know if you were here when we literally just went all over that. Racial dominance. Yeah, you asked the questions, of course not that.
The challenge we got was, was law, and I said, well, the law of Israel does not apply outside of Israel, does it? For non-Israelis, of course. Why did it So if you're a woman with somebody,
do it like this. That's the military law.
when you're a woman, yes, obviously.
And then the Israeli civil law doesn't apply to
Say it again, yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
So saying that the law doesn't apply outside of Israel, both laws are still applying, or it just depends on who you are. But it is.
No, it depends on where you are.
Those laws still
right?
apply even outside of Israel.
So Israeli citizens are subject to Israeli law in Israeli areas outside of Israel. And hang on, and Palestinian law applies in Palestinian areas outside of Israel. That's normal. That's not apartheid or oppression. That's Oslo.
Israeli military
Yeah.
applies outside of Israel.
Okay, if you're at war, like I mentioned in Jenin, which is a terror camp, somebody who has been arrested for terrorism is subject to military law because of war. That's normal with any army, right?
Okay. So then what you're saying also, the Israeli civil law, right? Does that apply to people, Palestinians that have not been arrested for terrorism? right, Kenny, you sent the links in the chat.
Who were not arrested, right?
Kenny, do you want to go over the links that you sent, or find more links?
No, he can go for himself. I don't like talking to German.
I don't blame you. I'm a tough guy to
No, honestly, you literally interrupt, so it's like there's no point.
Oh, I didn't mean you to feel dread. That's not the way we talk.
Oh, trust me, I cannot be friends by your bitch ass. Well, by the way, people, don't pull your peoples and tell them the matter of fact. Don't do that.
Let's do that.
Oh, poor Norbo. Norbo, don't pull. Don't pull. Okay. Oh, they're fine, right? I'm sure they're fine.
Normal, I apologize, but you don't understand the situation.
I apologize for me.
Why don't we talk about one thing? So where is your apartheid? We're still going. Where's your apartheid? Hebron. Tell me about the apartheid in Hebron. I want to hear.
Go, link it,
It's in the chat. No.
It's in the chat. So you don't know you didn't read the link you posted? Or you can't express it or nothing? Did you read it? Which link do you want to look at? Okay, well, posted by Panda Bear or what? Okay, well, there's a lot. I'm counting from the bottom. How many up? 1, 2, 3, 4. The bottom one?
I see 3.
Yeah, counting from the bottom.
And revealed that today that they did that and they exploded all of their cannons, all of their launchers of their ballistic missiles that they prepared to launch on Israel as a retaliation to an Israeli attack. So that's why it took them so long, because they couldn't shoot anything outside of Iran. They couldn't shoot anything proper. So they did.
Yeah, it really showed their infrastructure was decimated for 12 hours straight. It took them that long to recuperate, get people in place, new command units. I mean, any other military in the world would be able to immediately bounce back from something like that, but it took them 12 hours.
A few months ago, Israel has launched a strike on Iran, and in that strike, Israel has eliminated their factories where they build those ballistic missiles, and Israel eliminated their anti-plane system, or like all the radars and everything to shoot down planes. And Israel said, we prepared the ground for our bigger strike. And last night, Israel time, 3:23, whenever Israel started launching this attack on Iran, Israeli planes were flying across Tehran's skies with nobody bothering them, not a single missile being shot at them for quite a few hours.
Yeah, I've seen videos of like how slow their equipment is. I saw an Israeli jet flying away from an interceptor, and the missile is like half its speed.
Those are F-35s though.
Yeah, the F-35, amazing technology. I ran the Su-39 from the Soviet era stuff.
You know, the biggest issue and the biggest advantage Israeli Air Force has over the Iranian Air Force is, even if the Russians actually did give them all those planes, you need to fly those planes for quite some time to know how to actually operate it in its best way. And the fact that they got those planes 6 months ago, 1 year ago from Russia, doesn't make them experts in how to use it, and all of those advantages that this thing should bring your army. While Israeli army, I think, Israeli Air Force is known for its quality and
Well, I mean, that's comparing it to Chinese jets, then we're good. Like, it's the Chinese jets that are up to par. Everything else is below par to the S-35 and S-47. F-47, I should say.
I just think that you can't compare the two. They relayed on ballistic program, and this shit collapsed over their head. Israel has eliminated all of their commanders of their Revolutionary Guard,
of Iran and the leadership of the army within the first 2 hours of this strike. And all of the nuclear program scientists, 20 of them, 15 of them.
Well, I'll say Donald Trump is trying to distance himself, and that's a question for me. How does he do that when we ourselves launched a strike that killed General Soleimani? We've taken part in it.
I think America is on board from the beginning, and it was all one big grand plan to make Iran make it believe there is no chance Israel or America or both of the countries are going to actually launch a strike on Iran coming time.
Did you not see his Twitter when he said something about 60 days? Well,
yesterday was
one.
61st day.
Yeah.
But it's not only that, Prime Minister Netanyahu's son was supposed to get married this Monday. If you ask me, he's already been married. And this was the whole thing was a part of the plan. Then, what's his name? The American guy that went to the Middle East, Witkoff, what is his name? He was supposed to come and have a meeting with the people on Sunday. So, nobody saw that shit coming. Or at least that's what they wanted because of war. Then, yesterday, or 2 days ago, the biggest general in the Israeli army, there were reports when he told the Israeli leadership that Israel cannot do it on its own, that if the IDF is not capable of attacking Iran on its own, then we should either do it, we don't have the capabilities to do it, and we will have to have America with us, we can't do it alone. The next thing you know, Israel is doing that.
Yeah.
So
it's a part of the plan. America wants people to fall asleep and think, oh, okay, so America is not with Israel, like we thought. Israel is weaker, and that's it.